Hello, thank you for joining us today for our webinar on LocaleIQ for Events and Volunteer Management. In today's presentation, we are going to focus on LocaleIQ Events Manager functionality in partnership with Content Manager and Map Manager. In previous presentations, covered the entirety of the LocaleIQ Management Suite and Map Manager in more detail. In future webinars, we will demo in more detail LocaleIQ's other functionality, including Project Manager, Survey Manager, Sales and Reservation Manager, and Analytics, all with details on how to publish this information for internal and public use in outreach. Let's start by talking about your events management challenges. Many of today's online tools to create and manage event registrations require that you send your customers away from your site to register for the event. This also means that these event registration businesses then have your customers' information and can market to them separately. Other solutions give you a way to create a one-time event with no flexibility to create and schedule multiple events at a time. LocaleIQ's Event Manager Smart Forms give you a way to easily create one-time or recurring events, whether they are free or for a fee, require only name and email address, or a complete set of waivers and registration information. All this can be published to yours and your partner's site while you retain all registration information and gain from greater analytics on your registrants' behavior. You can also easily create confirmation and follow-up emails, as well as text and calendar reminders. Planning an event calls for collaboration. When you're planning a route where vendors, first aid stations, overflow parking, and services should be, you may need to share or create plans with a property manager, city personnel, vendors, emergency services, etc. LocaleIQ's Map Manager, in association with Events Manager, gives you an easy way to collaborate on and plan your events, map those plans, and share them securely with the appropriate people. Then you can schedule the time period for that map to be published and not have to worry about removing it from your public-facing map after the event. It will automatically be removed at the scheduled time. Creating interactive digital maps that can support your event will make your event that much more enjoyable and engaging. Whether your event requires only a handful of volunteers or thousands, you need a way to publicize the volunteer event to them, register them, have them sign waivers, track their hours, understand their demographics, and then you'll need to be able to report on volunteer engagement, both for your internal business intelligence and if you have a funding or government authority that requires this information. Chances are much of this is done on a spreadsheet today. With LocaleIQ's Events Manager volunteer-specific tracking and analytics, you can easily do all of this in one place. Best laid plans don't always mean that change won't happen. Weather is unpredictable, people are unpredictable, equipment breaks down, and the snow or waves may not be good enough to compete on the scheduled day. When you have to update a map with little notice or push out a scheduled event to a later time, or fingers crossed this never happens, you have to cancel an event or part of an event, you should be able to easily make those updates, publish them to your interactive maps and websites, and then easily send notifications by email and social media of the change. Without detailed analytics about who is viewing your event information on your site or on a map and how they're engaging with that information, you can't make intelligent business decisions for the next event. With LocaleIQ's Analytics Manager, you can track events performance and engagement over time with our dashboards and reports. You can track key registration statistics leading up to the event, see how many visitors have viewed your event, what your registration conversions are, booking percentages are, event costs and revenue, repeat participants, where participants are coming from, and more. If your event includes volunteers, Analytics Manager gives you a report to track and manage volunteer data in association with their area of impact to provide you measurable information on the value your volunteers are bringing to your organization, as well as understanding volunteer demographics and who your repeat volunteers are thereby supporting intelligent volunteer management and recruitment decision-making. And if your event or location attracts a global audience, you want to localize the content you publish on your site and maps without duplicating effort. When you registered for this online webinar, you went through a registration process that was built using LocaleIQ Events Manager Smart Forms. Events Manager Smart Forms for setting everything up from settings to schedules to required information to localizing it to creating an event map make building these one-time or recurring events very easy, as Tom will show you in a moment. Tom is now going to demo the creation of an event.
Thank you, Tracy. So let's go ahead and let's jump in here and look at how we set up events and create a new event. Right now we're in LocaleIQ and we're looking at an event search results for events that we've created either through demos or through real events that we have coming up. And so real quickly, let's look at this beach cleanup that we've created. Here you can see that we have a set of search results where we've provided all the events that we have upcoming. You can see time and date, put in reviews, how many people have viewed this event, how many participants are coming to the event, a description, as well as what the title is. If I click on the title here, we can see that we can come in here to register for this event, and the fields that we've defined that are required to for the user to sign up for this event, including a required email field. All the other fields are optional. So how do we create these events? Well, we create these events by coming into LocaleIQ Event Manager. In the Event Manager, you'll see that right from the portal and from your login, you can just click on the event link and you'll come to this page. And here you'll get an overview of all your events. You'll be able to see upcoming events, how many people are registered, what your current conversion rate is, how many people have viewed your events, and how many impressions you've had. You'll also be able to search for specific events as well as create a new event. Within the events themselves in here, you'll see that real quickly you can look at the events you have, what date, what's upcoming. You can see what kind of event it is, and you can also see how many participants are coming, as well as who's registered for the event. And you can manage participants, you can manage your map, add projects to this event, create a survey, or look at the analytics dashboard for this event. But for this demo, we're going to come in here quickly and just create a new event. So we'll click on the new event button. Okay, so we're here on our new event. So let's start off by first adding a photo to our event. Next, we're going to say this is a registered event, and up here we have the ability to customize what forms or what fields we want to ask for the user. In this case, let's ask for first name, last name. We're going to make these optional so that we'll display these fields, but we're not going to make them required. We're going to ask for a postal code. From that, we can automatically derive city, state, and other information. We don't have to ask for that information. We're going to ask for email address, and we're going to require it because it's a registered event, and we want to be able to send confirmation emails and that to the folks. And we're going to ask for phone number. And in this case, let's ask for age if this is a race event that we're setting up. Okay. Next, let's set up the date and time what we're going to do. We'll set this to Hawaii Standard Time, our local standard time. And we're going to say that this is happening on the 25th, and we're going to set this up for 7 o'clock in the morning. We could set this up as a recurring event, but for this sake, we're just going to create this as a one-time event. Done. We set how many participants we can take, and let's just say for this race we can take 2,500 participants. That'll be our max, and that's the number of registration we're going to take. We're going to set this for just for demo purposes. We're not going to set a registration open and deadline period, but you can set registration open and deadline period. You can also set a minimum age and a maximum age. And we're going to show how many available slots are left and how many attendees have signed up for this event. So let's come in here. We're going to set this up. We're going to say this is going to be a race. We're going to set the publish status to publish. And we're going to say Honolulu Marathon here. And again, we also have an event waiver if you want to put an event waiver in for this event. So we're pretty much set up at this point. So again, afterwards, we can come back in. We can add registration deadlines. We can add fees. We can add projects to this. We can add a post-race survey. to this event. But for right now, we're just going to quickly go through and just create a simple event. To create, come back to our search results, and let's come down to see, there's our event right here. And if I come back over to our other page, we'll go back to the events page, and we should be able to scroll down and see that the event was immediately published, and it's published with the fields that we've asked for. So very simple, very easy to set up an event. You can take the registration. All the user's information is encrypted when it's put into our system so that you can feel secure that your customers are your customers and their data is stored safely and securely in our system. Tracy, back to you.
Now let's talk about event maps. Taking the Honolulu Marathon map, for example, many of today's events maps are illustrated and static. However, that's not how your users are consuming information today. They want their maps to be online and interactive with usable details. Smartphones are ubiquitous. People want to be tethered to their information, entertainment, contacts, and camera. What if your event, such as the Honolulu Marathon, could offer them online interactive digital maps that showed them where they are on the course, where the aid stations are, and where the restrooms are? And for the 40% of participants who come from out of country, offer the map and information in their local language, with points of interest information for the tourist and all of us. How much more engaging would that event be? And to make these interactive maps even more engaging, viewers can see them in street view, satellite view, or bird's eye view. Tom will now demo the creation of an event map for you.
Okay. Now that we've added our event to Event Manager, let's go ahead and add our race route for this race. So we can simply come in here to Map Manager. We'll click Create a New Geography. We're going to create a race route, which is a polyline. We happen to have the coordinates from another solution we have, so we're going to click here on the Shape tool. We're going to paste our coordinates into the coordinates box. Tab, and you'll see we automatically calculate all the coordinates, the begin, the end, and the distance for this race. We can come in here, we'll set the style for this race. And let's go ahead and we'll just make this race route red for now. Well, let's increase the line width to 3. And let's make this a solid line. And that's simply, we just added a 26.2 mile race. So very simple to come in and create and add your event routes onto our system. And next we'll talk about how to add the mile markers, event venues, and other stuff. Kind of built out our race route a lot more. We've added in the mile markers, we've added in a number of restrooms, and some other items. And so right now what we're going to do is we're going to go through real quickly and show you how to add in these restroom icons. It's the same thing for mile markers or any of the special icons and points. And so as you can see here, we've got our map manager, and we've selected outdoor recreation as a facility, and in this case we picked a restroom. If there's something we don't have that you're trying to add, you can always select other and then define what the object is, and of course you can choose whatever icon you want to upload associated with that icon, with that feature type. So real quickly here, we're going to say race restroom. Just a real quick description here, and we're going to create a new geography. This time we're going to create an icon. We're going to come into our styles. We can always use one of our markers if we want to use our markers, but we're going to actually upload a custom icon here. Here you can see we were in our race icon mode, but we're going to click out here. We're going to camp icons, or these icons, and I think we have a restrooms icon right here. Yeah, we do. Here we go. And so you see we just added a new restroom icon right here. We can drag that icon down to wherever we want to save it. Put it in right here. Click on the shape. You can see we've captured the coordinates for this. We know what the long and lat is. We don't need much more information than this. Again, you have the ability to write in custom descriptions, add photos to this. If it's race day and for some reason they dropped off the porta potties at a different location than you'd originally put the map, you're simply going to come in, click on this item, and drag it to where these items are. You also have zoom ability, so you can zoom way in on these locations to where you can actually get the street views. Place it as close to the item as you want to place it to. So let's go way down in here, and we know that we're going to be right at the corner of let's say Kalani Street for this. Okay, and again, if you want to see it in a different view, you can always switch this over to road view. You can switch it over to bird's eye view. It just gives you a different view so they can see how the user is going to see it on the map ultimately. Anyway, simple as that, adding an icon onto the map. You can zoom in, see the locations, get it as fine-tuned as you want. Our recommendation is that you zoom in as far as you can to place it in the best location as possible. And again, if you have the coordinates, you simply come to the shape and you just paste in new coordinates and it'll put that icon exactly where those coordinates are. And that's how easy it is to add an icon to the map. We're back down here at the Honolulu Marathon, and what we're doing now is we've actually started to build out the post-race venue. And here we're in Kapiolani Park, where runners at the end of the race will have the opportunity to go through a number of booths and venues to look at top clothing manufacturers, shoe manufacturers. They can pick up snacks and nutrition companies and various other booths that are available to them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you really quickly how to build out these booths and how to build out this venue. And again, we have shape tools which allow you to quickly and easily go through and create the shapes and build out a map for your participants. So when they're at the end of the race, they can pull up this map and they can go into the event venue and they can see where the ASICS booth is or where the Brooks booth is and quickly, easily find it on this interactive map you've provided for them. So real quickly, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new geography. And this time we're going to create a rectangle because we're just creating booths. And we're going to start right here. And we're going to add our first booth in. We're going to come select the style. And let's make these booths again white. We'll do 1 for the line width. And real quickly, we can come back over here. So we've added that shape in. Again, we've captured the coordinates. We've captured the area for this. And now we can come through and we can actually put in a custom description for this booth. And so since this is a new geography, this is actually going to get posted as a new geography. We say this is the ASICS booth. With these, we can put in descriptions, we can go back afterwards, we can put a rich description, we can add a photo and make this whatever the vendor likes. And what's nice for you is you can actually provide your vendor's logos, you can actually provide photos. It just makes it a much richer experience and it makes your vendors feel like the money they paid for the booth, they're actually getting advertised and they're actually getting some brand marketing.
Auto calculation of coordinates during the planning phase makes planning a lot easier, with distance for things like races, parades, and tours auto-calculated as shown under the polyline option, and areas for mapping out the correct space for vendors' needs in the scenario of a fair, parades with vendors' booths, farmers' markets, etc., as shown under the rectangle and polygon options. Whether your event requires a handful of volunteers or thousands, you need a way to publicize the volunteer event to them, register them, have them sign waivers, track their hours, understand their demographics, and then you'll need to be able to report on volunteer engagement, both for your internal business intelligence and if you have funding or government authority that requires this information. With Map Manager and Project Manager, you can also assign your volunteers to a site on the map and give them specific project or a set of activities to complete. Then track all of these through Analytics Manager. Managing participatory GIS projects is easier as well, when you can give your volunteers temporary secure access to a specific survey or maps for them to update their information for projects such as wildlife, plant, and invasive species sightings, inventory, and location mapping. As we mentioned previously, LocaleIQ offers a complete set of volunteer analytics, and Tom will touch on these a little bit more in the detail at the end of this webinar. Now let's talk about real-time updates for a moment. As I mentioned previously, change happens. Once your events and maps are published, you'll likely need to make real-time updates as things change, whether for scheduled changes, vendor changes, updated entertainment information, or any number of updates that can happen. We've built forms into LocaleIQ to capture this information through Content Manager and add it to a specific place or object on a map. These forms allow you to add images and videos, fees for things such as event tickets, vendor passes, tour fees, etc. When it comes to outdoor events, weather and any number of unforeseen events can have a real impact on your event, and you'll want to be able to do things like easily change the event schedule, either in whole or for parts of an event. Real-time alerts allow you to post notices on events and venue changes in an eye-catching way at the exact location on the map of the item impacted. Closures can be for a given period of time or open-ended. If you schedule a closure alert to end at a specific date and time, they will automatically update at the defined time. If your event includes rides, your rules may include age or size rules and restrictions. Your visitors can search and filter on any rule you want to set. For example, marking all your handicapped accessible areas will allow visitors to be able to filter and search on those areas specifically. Conditions are important to give your visitors full disclosure on what to expect, especially if it's an outdoor event. You can include all the allowed activities by location so your visitors can easily find what is of interest to them. While we have a number of predefined rules, conditions, and activities, you can always add your own to any of these. Finally, when you've made an update, you may want to let your event followers in social media know so that it can be inspired to visit you because of a new opportunity, or they won't be disappointed when they show up to find the schedule has changed. We make that easy with one-click updates to your social media sites. Destination businesses and events often have a global audience. When you can reach your customers and visitors in their own language, customer satisfaction increases greatly, and repeat and referral businesses grow as well. Delivering multilingual website content is one thing, but how about for events and interactive maps? With LocaleIQ, you can easily add multiple languages to your events, registrations, and map views, giving your customers the pleasure of viewing, searching, and filtering information on maps in their own language. I'm now going to pass this back to Tom to speak about analytics and publishing.
Thank you. Now let's take a look at LocaleIQ's business intelligence. In LocaleIQ's Analytics Manager, customers get access to a full suite of business dashboards and location intelligence reports. Everything from heat maps to site visitors, page views, click paths, and other KPIs. As you can see on the right, you get access to quick maps that provide you with demographic information about where your users are coming from, where they viewed the site, who's actually clicked on and participated in your event, as well as business dashboards such as impressions, number of event views, conversion numbers, and repeat visitors. This all comes along with other administrative dashboards to tell you where your users within the portal are changing data, adding photos, or other key information. This tied with audit trails, which tells you what changed, when it changed, on what date, and by who, provides you with a great level of detail of enterprise level analytics you don't have available in many other solutions today. For publishing, we provide two main ways to publish your data. One through APIs. This is for sites that primarily have developers on staff and already have a site up and running. Have a little more resources to put behind solutions. With this, they can access their data through common formats such as KML, GRSS, RSS, or JSON formats, bringing in their data and integrating it directly into their site the way they want to integrate it. For simpler sites, you can use our hosted solution. Here you can embed a page with a single line of code, similar to putting up a YouTube video. With this implementation, you get all the same features as seen on our portal, such as the search features, filter, multi-language, and you get a whole new set of robust analytics that aren't necessarily available through an API view. Because in these views, we can actually tell who's clicking on what icon on a map and other key information that is not normally available to you. The other nice thing with the hosted solution is as we upgrade our system, you automatically get the new features available.
On a final note, please note that we are changing our product name from R Navigator to LocaleIQ, so don't be confused if you see it listed both ways. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you joining us for this webinar. If you have any more questions, please email us directly, or if you would like to see more of our webinars, Visit our LocaleIQ station on YouTube or go to www.naumedia.com/events. Thank you.